I remember his mom saying, "So you're telling us that our son didn't make it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Holt. I had to pronounce Blair's passing 9:03 p.m."
I met Blair back in 2006. We took a course together, and like anytime I needed something like help with a problem or anything, he was always there. And anytime he needed help with a problem, I was always there.
It was a fashion show going on. All the city schools was coming here for the fashion show, and I had to cook. I was in culinary arts. So he was like, nah, he had to go to work at his grandmother's in them shop. So I'm like, all right, well, just call me later.
Blair never really rode the bus. This was actually the first time I've seen him riding the bus since I've been at Julian. He got on the front of the bus and it just looked weird because he threw his hood on. And everybody looking, and then all you know is he opened fire, just started shooting. We didn't know where it came from, who was hit, but all we knew is it was just screaming, loud. And once we looked down, we saw blood rolling around. And everybody like, "Are you okay?" And this one he was still talking. He like, I'm okay, but he's still rolling. He still got his book bag on.
I said, "Annette, what's wrong? What's going on?" And she just kept asking Ronnie, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I said, "Don't worry about that. What's wrong?" You know, and she says, one of Blair's friends called me and said he and some other kids got shot on a bus on the way from school.
Yeah, I found out when he got shot here when I was sitting in the, out in the lobby, and I was like, he gonna pull through, he gonna make it, he gonna make a song about it, because that's what Blood did. Anytime something happened, he made a song about it, and I'm like, Blood gonna make it. And then when I found out he died, I was crushed. I'm still crushed to this day. Like some nights I can't really sleep because I think, like what if I'd have kept him in the lobby? He wouldn't have got on that bus and he wouldn't have got shot.
Friday morning, I arrived early, my regular time between 6:30 and 6:45. Parked in the west parking lot, walked into the south foyer. I noticed TV trucks lined up and down Elizabeth Street. I walked in the door, I saw Miss Barnett and our former assistant principal, Mr. Reynolds. First words out of my mouth were, "What did I miss?" That's when Miss Barnett had informed me that one of our students, Blair Holt, had been killed the day before.
The biggest impact Blair's death had made on my life is to cherish every moment we have on earth. It's kind of hard to say that my cousin's death was senseless, and it hurts to know the fact that his time on earth was limited. And I'm sorry.
Blair was my only child. See, you think it gets easier, it really doesn't. He was my only child, and like any mother, you never want to lose your child. You never want to bury your child. It's supposed to be the other way around. And Blair was such a big part of my life. And I'm determined to fight until other parents don't have to feel what I have to feel.
Violence is the #1 killer of young people between the ages of 15 and 24. Guns, in part, have caused the death of thousands of children every year in this country. Young African American males die from gun violence at a rate of 2.5 times higher than Latino males and 8 times higher than white males. In 2007, the Center for Disease Control reported that 5,764 youth aged 10 through 24 were murdered. In Chicago alone that same year, 32 Chicago public school students were killed, and in most of these cases, the perpetrators were children themselves. The statistics on youth violence are staggering, and the causes are many. According to a survey conducted by the National Campaign to Stop Violence, The top 10 causes of violence are media, substance abuse, gangs, unemployment, weapons, poverty, peer pressure, broken homes, poor family environments, and ignorance. University of Chicago sociologist William Julius Wilson stated that homicide rates soar in neighborhoods where men have no jobs, children are raised with no fathers, and social institutions are in disarray. St. Sabina pastor Michael Pfleger sees firsthand the devastation youth violence causes in his Southside community.
Talking to a young man the other day that, he said he just wants to go and move into a rural area somewhere because he's just afraid of being killed. And he said, I'm struggling in school to do the right thing and do all the rest, but I'm afraid, what stops me from being killed anyway? Just because I'm not in a gang and I'm not doing drugs or whatever, I can still be killed out here. And I think some of them begins to lower their expectations or become immune to this violence, immune to the conditions that are out here right now, and begins to put a ceiling on their dreams or their possibilities of potential what they could be.
Youth are affected directly and indirectly by the violence that plagues their schools and community. Far too frequently, Pastor Pfleger counsels teens who have lost friends and loved ones to violence. He says the issues they face, dealing with poverty and peer pressure in particular, are often too much to bear.
Well, I guess three things. One is because I don't think a violent world is the world that God called us to create or build. Secondly, every time I stand over a child who has been shot or who has been killed, there's an anger and a rage that rises up in me saying, this must stop. And thirdly, is when I walk over into our school or I look at you as a young senior looking at your future, that I see the potential and the possibility and the purpose and the destiny in you and in other young people, and you deserve to achieve it. And a world that wants to snatch that through violence is unacceptable.
The causes of youth violence are troubling but clear. Parents, school officials, community organizers, religious leaders, law enforcement, and politicians have various ideas for solutions for the growing epidemic of youth violence. The Chicago Transit Authority have installed more than 3,000 surveillance cameras on buses, and 143 train stations are now equipped with cameras as well. Ceasefire and other community organizations sponsor rallies, mediate gang conflicts, and work with high-risk teens. The City of Chicago has created thousands of summer jobs and established enriching after-school programs for teens. Chicago Public Schools have invested a substantial amount of funds and resources to improve security measures in and around schools. Tougher zero-tolerance policies are in place and student codes of conduct are strictly enforced. At schools such as Julian, community organizations like Safe Passage, A Knock at Midnight, and CAD have joined forces with administrators and staff to maintain a culture of unity and peace inside the school and the surrounding neighborhoods.
We have time to sit down and build relationships with them, do Peace Circle, do training about their mentoring, and we tutor them as well too. So we take off into heart the work that we're doing in the community to help our students make better choices.
With support from the Blair Holt Memorial Foundation, Illinois State Representative Bobby Rush has introduced a comprehensive anti-gun bill in Congress. The bill, called Blair Holt's Firearm Licensing and Record of Sale of 2009, would require anyone wishing to purchase or own or possess a handgun to be licensed by the state or federal government. For Blair Holt's cousin, Taylor Holt, the passing of the bill couldn't come a day too soon.
Family members who have taken a stand in the fight towards gun violence, but communities across Chicago coming together and saying that this is something that can't go on and that needs to be stopped and recognized.
Blair's uncle, Elgin Holt, says the end of youth violence is a process that must occur soon for the future of Chicago communities and the country as a whole.
A multifaceted approach, involving the community, faith-based community, the police, the schools, and parents, of course. Some of the other things that we would have to say, I would say, is what we've been doing is the gun regulation, gun laws to try to stop the proliferation of handguns into our community, and that would be an indirect response to help fighting youth violence.
Despite the profound violence that has devastated African American and Latino communities, there is hope for peace. There's much work to be done, and there are plenty of people doing it. Blair Holt and far too many others died senselessly, but their deaths have birthed a movement toward peace. They are our angels now, forever connected to our hearts and minds. We are one.
I am DeAndre Malcolm.
I am Aaron Thomas.
I am Desiree Rogers.
I am Jarmel White.
I am Marvis Brown.
I am Kiana Salter.
I am Paris Mercer.
I am Juan Bailey.
I am Tanisha Thurman.
I am Richard Chambers.
I am Blair Holt.